The night Michael Carter broke down, it was not because his house was loud, it was because it went silent in a way that scared him more. The twins had screamed for hours, broken plates, thrown toys, pushed away every hand that tried to help them. Then suddenly they stopped. No crying, no footsteps, no noise at all. Michael stood in the hallway holding his breath, afraid to move, afraid to call their names, afraid of what that silence meant. 18 months earlier, he had buried his wife. Since then, he had buried himself too, inside work, inside money, inside long nights where he sat alone while his daughters tore their world apart. No nanny lasted a week, not one. Some left crying, some angry, some shaking. Experts failed, helpers failed, even love felt like it had failed. Then a woman walked into his house, not as a nanny, but as a cleaner. She spoke softly, moved slowly, and looked at his daughters like she already knew them. The twins did not scream at her, they watched her closely, as if they were seeing something familiar they could not name. Michael did not know it yet, but the woman was hiding a truth tied to blood, death, and a promise that had been broken long ago. And when he finally discovered what she was hiding, it would force him to face the moment his family truly fell apart and decide if it could ever be put back together again. The house never slept anymore. It waited in a tired way, holding every sound inside its walls. Michael Carter sat at the edge of the stairs, listening to the storm his daughters created upstairs. Chairs fell, toys crashed, tiny feet ran hard across the floor. He did not move. He did not speak. He feared his own voice now. At 46, with success the world admired, he felt smaller than ever. Money could build towers, but it could not calm two broken children. Tonight felt longer than all the nights since Laura died inside him, without rest or mercy. Laura had been gone 18 months, but time had stopped moving inside that house. The twins, Lily and Grace, were 3 when their mother died at a traffic light. A man ran a red signal drunk, and everything ended. Since that day, the girls screamed as if screaming could pull her back. They bit helpers, threw food, broke lamps, tore books. Michael tried therapy, doctors, experts. Nothing worked. The house learned fear, learned waiting, learned sorrow, and forgot what calm felt like. Every corner held pain, every room echoed loss. Even daylight felt heavy on the walls now today still. Nannies came and went like shadows. One lasted 6 days, one 3, one left before lunch. Some cried, some shouted, one locked herself in the bathroom. Michael never blamed them. The twins were not bad, they were lost. At night, he heard them call for their mother until their voices broke. He sat outside their door, tears falling without sound. He wished she would appear, explain death, fix everything. Instead, there was only mourning, and another failure waiting. Hope faded quietly, courage thinned daily, and love felt tired but still alive inside him, even as days grew harder to face. Michael had built a company from nothing, lines of code turning into towers of glass. People called him strong, brilliant, lucky. None of that mattered here. His daughters did not care about success or news articles. They needed safety, and he could not give it. He kept Laura's phone by his bed, never charging it, afraid to erase her last % of life. Every morning, he stood in the mirror, asking a simple question: how do I save them? When every day felt like losing them again. Without answers, without help, without rest, even with lights on and doors locked. When the agency called about a cleaner, Michael almost said no. Cleaners did not stay either. But the woman asked for his house by name. Hannah Brooks, age 29. No child work listed, no badges, no claims. Only cleaning jobs, simple ones. Her voice was calm on the phone. Too calm, he thought. He agreed to a 1-week trial. It was late December. Snow rested on trees outside, and Christmas felt like a joke. Pain sat heavy in the house, and hope felt unsafe. unwanted, and far away, waiting for nothing good to happen again soon there then. Hannah arrived early the next morning. She wore plain clothes, nothing bright, nothing new. She looked around the house slowly, as if listening. When the twins entered, they screamed on sight, throwing a cup. Hannah did not step back. She knelt down, level with them, and said softly that it was okay. The twins stopped for a moment. Silence opened, thin and tense. Michael felt his chest tighten. He watched closely, waiting for fear, anger, or retreat. But none came. Instead, there was stillness, strange and careful, like holding breath, waiting for hurt to return again, or pass, or stay. Hannah began to clean without rush. She hummed a low tune, one Laura used to sing years ago. Michael froze when he heard it. The twins stared at Hannah, then at each other. No screams followed. Lily took one slow step closer. Grace hid behind the wall, watching. Hannah kept humming, wiping the table. Gentle, steady. The sound filled the room. Michael did not trust it. He waited for the break that always came. The yelling, the fear, the running, the ending. Yet minutes passed, and nothing broke. Nothing fell. Nothing screamed. And his hands shook as hope dared breathe. By noon, the house felt different, not healed, just quieter. The twins followed Hannah from room to room, touching her sweater, then pulling back. She spoke little, using soft words. Michael saw something else, something wrong. Hannah cut apples the way Laura had. She placed plates the same way. A chill touched him. He did not ask yet. He feared answers. He feared memories, opening wounds he could not close. Inside his chest, wounds that bled quietly, deep, and refused to heal, even after time, sleep, work, and prayer, leaving him tired, unsure, and lost, again, today, still, alone, here. That evening, Hannah asked to help with bedtime. Michael almost refused. Bedtime was war, yet he agreed. He stood in the hall as Hannah sat on the floor, saying nothing. Lily crawled into her lap. Grace followed, slow, careful. No screaming came. Tears fell instead, quiet ones. Hannah held them without promise, without lies. Michael slid down the wall and cried into his hands, unseen, for the first time in months, feeling both pain and relief mix, unsure if this calm was real, or another pause, before loss returned, louder, sharper, crueler than before, breaking him. Again, soon, tonight, somehow. Later, alone in the kitchen, Michael noticed Hannah watching the twins sleep. Her face held grief, not fear. It was deep, old, and heavy. She wiped her eyes when she sensed him. He asked nothing. Outside, snow fell softly. Inside, something waited to be spoken, something tied to death and blame. Chapter 1 ends here, with a house holding its breath, and a man sensing that truth was near, and it would hurt before it healed, because pain always asks to be faced before peace can stay, and nothing comes free. Without truth, tears, time, and choice. From those living, Michael did not sleep that night. He sat on the couch, lights off, listening to the slow breathing coming from upstairs. The twins had slept through the night. No screams, no running, no crying. That alone felt unreal. He kept waiting to hear fear return, but it did not. His mind turned again and again, stuck on the woman in his house. Hannah Brooks moved like someone who already belonged there. That scared him. Nothing good came without cost anymore. Silence felt borrowed, like it could be taken back at any moment. Morning came gently. Hannah was already awake, cleaning the kitchen slowly. She made breakfast before Michael asked. Pancakes, soft and warm, cut small, with fruit on the side. Laura had made them that way. His hand shook as he poured coffee. The twins came down the stairs, quiet, holding the rail. They looked at Hannah. then at the table. Lily sat first, Grace followed. They ate without throwing plates. Michael watched, afraid to breathe, afraid to break the moment with his presence. After breakfast, Hannah asked if she could take the twins to the playroom. Michael nodded. He followed at a distance, pretending to check emails, watching closely. Inside the room, toys still lay broken from past weeks. Hannah did not rush to clean them. She sat on the floor and picked up a doll with one arm missing. She spoke softly, saying the doll had been hurt but still wanted company. Grace watched. Lily sat closer. The twins did not scream. They listened. Michael felt something twist inside him, something between relief and fear. Hours passed slowly. Hannah never raised her voice. When the twins grew upset, she stayed still. When they cried, she did not rush them. She stayed. That was it. She stayed. Michael noticed every detail. She wiped tears the way Laura used to, with the back of her hand, quick and gentle. She hummed again, the same song, low and steady. He felt trapped in memory. His heart felt heavy, not fast, just full, like it could split open at any point. By afternoon, Michael could not hold his questions anymore. He found Hannah folding laundry in the guest room. He asked how she knew the song. Hannah froze. Her hands stopped moving. The room felt tight. She said it was a common tune. The lie came too fast. Michael nodded, but doubt settled deep. He left the room, his mind racing, slowly, carefully, like stepping on broken glass. The twins asked for Hannah at lunch. They did not cry when she left the room. They waited. That alone frightened him. Children who once rejected every adult now chose one. That kind of bond did not come from nothing. Michael watched Hannah more closely. She knew which cup Grace preferred, which spoon Lily hated. He had not told her. No one had. He felt watched by the past, as if Laura's memory was walking through the house in another form. That evening, Michael found the twins sitting quietly with Hannah near the locked office door, Laura's office, the place he had not opened since the funeral. The door was marked clean, untouched, like a grave with walls. Hannah noticed him and stood quickly. She said she thought the twins wanted to see their mother's things. Michael's voice rose. He told her that room was not to be entered. Hannah apologized, her face pale. The twins began to cry, not loudly, just hurt. Michael walked away, anger shaking his legs. He hated that room. He hated being weak. He hated feeling afraid of answers. Later that night, Michael sat alone with a drink in his hand, untouched. He replayed the moments again and again, the song, the food, the words. Hannah was hiding something. He felt it clearly now. The calm she brought was real, but so was the weight behind her eyes. It was the look of someone who had buried someone they loved. The look he saw in the mirror every morning. Upstairs, the twins slept side by side. Hannah sat on a chair nearby, not touching them, just watching. Michael stood in the doorway, unseen. He watched her close her eyes, press her fingers together, and breathe slowly, as if holding pain inside her chest. Tears rolled down her face without sound. Michael felt his anger drain, replaced by fear. This was not a trick. This was not skill. This was shared loss. He went to his room and opened a drawer he had not touched in months. Laura's old scarf lay there. He pressed it to his face. He whispered her name, asking what he was missing, asking why peace came with questions, asking what truth was hiding in plain sight. The night gave no answers. Only silence, thick and waiting. Downstairs, Hannah cleaned the kitchen long after midnight. She stopped at the photo wall, where Laura smiled in glass frames. Hannah touched one frame gently, then pulled her hand back fast, as if burned. She turned away and wiped her face. The truth was close now, near enough to hurt everyone. Chapter 2 ends here, with calm resting on fragile ground, with trust growing beside secrets, and with grief standing between four hearts, waiting to be spoken, waiting to break open, knowing that once truth steps into the light, nothing will stay the same again. The morning everything broke open began like the calm days before it. The twins ate quietly. Hannah cleaned slowly. Michael tried to pretend this peace could last without answers. But silence can only hold for so long before truth demands space. He felt it in his chest, heavy and warm, pushing forward. He could not carry it anymore. By late morning, the twins began asking about their mother again. Not shouting, not crying, just asking. Lily said maybe Mommy was hiding. Grace said maybe Mommy was still in the house. Hannah listened without stopping them. Michael felt fear rise. This was why the office stayed locked. Memories lived there, sharp and dangerous. He stepped out to take a call, his mind full, his heart tight, his guard slipping without him knowing. When he returned, the office door was open. Michael froze. The room he had sealed away now breathed again. Papers lay scattered, drawers stood open. The twins were on the floor, digging through boxes, calling softly for their mother. Hannah knelt near them, trying to calm them, her face drained. Michael's fear turned into anger in a rush. He shouted her name. The twins cried. His voice echoed off walls that once held love. Hannah stood quickly, shaking. She tried to explain, saying she thought it would help them understand. Michael did not hear her. He saw only ruin, memories torn open, pain dragged into the light without his choice. He ordered Hannah out of the room. The twins clung to her. Lily screamed that her mother was hiding. Grace sobbed that they needed to look harder. Michael dropped to his knees. The truth hit him then, clear and cruel. They never understood death. Michael pulled the twins close. His voice broke as he told them their mother was not hiding, not lost, not waiting. She was gone. Lily covered her ears. Grace cried harder. The room filled with pain, sharp and deep. Hannah stood back, tears falling. Michael wanted to blame her, wanted to scream, but the look on her face stopped him. It was the same look he had seen in the mirror, the look of someone who had buried more than one life. The twins cried until their bodies shook. Michael held them, whispering broken words. He told them Mommy loved them, that she did not leave because of them, that death was not their fault. He did not know if they understood. He did not care. He had to say it. The room felt heavy, filled with breath and tears and truth. After the twins fell asleep, worn out by grief, Michael and Hannah sat alone on the floor. The office was quiet again. Dust floated in the light. Michael asked her the question he had avoided since day one. How did you know Laura so well? Hannah closed her eyes. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then she spoke. She told him about Emily, her younger sister, about dance classes, about how Laura had become more than a teacher. She told him about the accident, about the call, about the guilt that followed her like a shadow. She said she was meant to pick Emily up that day. She was late. Laura offered to help. Hannah said she had replayed that day 1,000 times, wishing she had been faster, wishing she had been there instead. Her words fell slow and heavy. Michael felt the air leave his lungs. Another family shattered by the same moment. Another life folded into his loss. Hannah said she stayed away because she believed she ruined everything. She said she had watched from a distance, heard how the twins were suffering, and felt a debt she could not ignore. She came not to heal, but to serve, quietly, without being seen. Michael listened without interrupting. Anger drained away. Only understanding remained. They were both broken by the same day, living different versions of the same pain. He realized Hannah had not come to fix his children. She had come to sit with them in grief, because she already lived there herself. They visited the twins together that night. Hannah sat beside the bed, sharing simple stories about Laura, small happy ones. The twins listened. They did not cry. They did not smile. They listened. Michael watched something shift, not healing yet, but softening. Pain loosening its grip, just enough to breathe. Later, Michael stood alone in Laura's office. He touched her desk, her chair, her books. He felt her presence not as pain now, but as guidance. Hannah had not destroyed this room. She reopened it so truth could enter. And truth hurt, but lies had hurt longer. That night, Michael dreamed of Laura smiling. Not sadly, not distant. She said nothing. She did not need to. When he woke, his pillow was wet, but his chest felt lighter. Chapter 3 ends with truth uncovered, grief spoken aloud, and 4 lives standing at the edge of something new, knowing pain had not ended, but it no longer needed to hide in silence, and that sometimes healing begins only after everything breaks open. Christmas morning came slowly, wrapped in quiet. Snow rested outside the windows, soft and still. Inside the house, there was movement, small steps, low voices, gentle sounds that did not carry fear. Michael woke early, unsure why. His body no longer felt tense the way it used to. Something had shifted. Not joy yet, but space. Space where pain was no longer shouting all the time. Downstairs, Hannah was already awake. She stood near the tree Michael had almost forgotten to decorate. The twins sat on the floor beside her, touching the branches, careful, focused. Old ornaments lay in a box. Laura's ornaments. Michael had not planned to bring them out. Seeing them now made his breath slow. He wanted to stop the moment, afraid of what it might open, but the twins were calm. That alone told him this was right. Hannah handed each girl an ornament and spoke softly about their mother. Nothing heavy, just small things. How Laura used to laugh when the lights refused to work, how she sang while decorating, how she believed the tree did not need to be perfect to be beautiful. Lily asked a question. Grace asked another. Hannah answered honestly, without fear. Michael watched, his hands trembling at his sides, tears falling freely for the first time without shame. By midday, laughter filled the room. Real laughter, small and bright, unsure but alive. Michael stood in the doorway, frozen. He had not heard that sound in 18 months. It felt unfamiliar and precious. He did not step in at first. He listened, letting it sink into him, letting himself believe it was real, and not something that would vanish if he moved too fast. Later, Michael gathered the courage to speak. He reminded Hannah that her trial week was ending. His voice was steady, but his heart was not. The twins stopped what they were doing. Lily stood up and went to the stairs. Grace followed. They returned with their little bags. The same bags they carried when Nanny's left. They placed them by the door. Michael's chest tightened. He asked what they were doing. Grace spoke first. She said they would go with Hannah if Hannah had to leave. Lily nodded. She said Hannah stayed when they cried. Hannah did not tell them to be quiet. Hannah did not leave when they were sad. Hannah made the house feel safe. Their words were simple, but they landed heavy. Michael knelt in front of them, tears in his eyes. He told them no one was leaving. He told them Hannah was staying, if she wanted to. He turned to Hannah, offering her a place not as a helper, but as family. Hannah covered her mouth and cried. She said yes, quietly, with shaking hands and a full heart. That afternoon, they went together to the cemetery. Snow covered the ground. The twins held hands. Hannah walked beside Michael. At Laura's grave, Lily spoke first. She said she missed her mom. Grace said she was not scared anymore. Hannah promised Laura she would protect the girls. Michael thanked his wife for sending Hannah into their lives when they needed her most. They stood together in silence. The pain was still there, but it did not stand alone. It was held, shared, and softened. That night, after the twins fell asleep, Michael and Hannah sat in the living room. He spoke about Laura, about fear, about how empty the house had felt. Hannah spoke about Emily, about guilt, about learning to forgive herself. They did not rush their words. They did not promise anything beyond honesty. Michael understood something then. Hannah was not there to replace Laura. She was there to walk forward while honoring her. Love did not disappear with death. It moved, changed, found new ways to live. As the fire burned low, Michael felt peace settle into his bones. Not the kind that forgets pain, but the kind that makes room for it. Upstairs, the twins slept calmly, dreaming quietly, no longer afraid of being alone. The house no longer waited in silence. It breathed again, and in that shared breath, a broken family began to live, not by erasing the past, but by holding it together. Dear viewers, this story is not about wealth, or a big house, or success. This story is about pain that lives quietly inside families, and the slow way love can bring light back without forcing it. Michael did not lose his grief. Hannah did not erase her guilt, and the twins did not forget their mother. Healing did not come by pretending the pain was gone. Healing came because they chose to face it together, honestly, gently, one day at a time. Many people think strength means staying silent, but this story shows something different. Strength can mean sitting on the floor with crying children, listening without rushing, staying when walking away would be easier. Love does not end when someone dies. It changes shape. It finds new hands, new voices, new ways to protect what remains. If this story touched your heart, pause for a moment and think about the people around you who carry silent pain. Think about the child who acts out because they are confused, the adult who stays quiet because they feel guilty, the friend who shows up without being asked. Sometimes, the ones who heal us are the ones who suffer too. Before you leave, let us hear from you. Tell us in the comments where you are watching from, and tell us what this story taught you about love, loss, or family. If you felt something while listening, please like this video, share it with someone who might need it, and subscribe so you do not miss more stories like this. And if you want more emotional stories that remind us we are not alone, comment more stories, and you will be the first to receive the next one. Your voice matters here. Your story matters too.